Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike. With me, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how are you doing on this spring day? I'm going to call it because it's pretty close to 50 degrees here.
Yeah, we had I feel like this is what second false spring is
Second
this
fake spring, yeah, because it's going to be cold again tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow on Sunday, but starting Monday, man, I think it's gonna. I think winter's over. I think this weekend might be the last winter weather we get. So take a deep breath of cold air, because I think it's gonna be a while.
No, I think it's pretty much as we know it. Winter is over. It's still going to be that off and on March and somewhat of April, where you get you might get a snowstorm one day randomly, but it'll be gone.
But it'll immediately melt because it's just that time of year.
Exactly. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's a lot of the in between. Everything's going to be wet and muddy and gross.
I hate it.
For
spring.
2.5 months. Yeah, me too.
I hate spring. I love all the other seasons. Mm-hmm. Summer, fall is obviously number one. Summer and winter, big fan of both. Spring is dirty. It's muddy. It smells like worms. I don't like it. Don't like spring. Don't. Haven't ever.
The only part of spring that I enjoy is late, in May when it stops raining so much.
Yeah, once it dries out.
Yeah,
sure.
And then, everything's blossoming. You get a 2 to 3 week period in there, and then all of a sudden it just becomes 100 degrees and it's disgusting. So, that's the only part of spring that I enjoy. But yeah, for the most part, no, man, I'm not a big fan either. Plus, all I'm thinking about the whole time is when is that heat going to hit? When is it going to be 90 degrees out of the blue and I'm going to hate my life walking outside? So
dude.
I spend more time outdoors in the winter in Minnesota than I do in the summertime.
I spend so much time outside in the winter. I go for walks all the time.
Yep. Yeah.
I love it.
Same.
Yeah, no, I don't. I would take cold weather because you can always bundle up. You can only, once it gets hot enough, you're just sweating.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can really do about it.
Mm-hmm. And
I just don't like that. I don't enjoy it.
Likewise.
And the air gets kind of, when it gets really humid, it's kind of oppressive and just yeah. So I'm with, I'd take 75 over 85 and, humid at pretty much every time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Unless I'm on the lake. I'm on the lake, the heat is fine.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And that's a different thing. But normal
you're on the water,
life, yes.
But no, going about your day to day, no. The heat is for the birds, man.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, yeah, no, other than that, dude, things are fine. Things are all good here. So, just moving along. How about you?
I am really under the gun.
Yeah.
Really stressed. I'm that level of stressed right now with my professional life, we'll say, that when I go to bed, the last thoughts I think are kind of anxious. And then when I wake up in the morning, I just feel like I feel like a ball of anxiety.
Yeah.
Inside of me.
Yeah.
And I'm just I got to get through March 15th.
Yep.
I got big deadlines from now until then. And that's the biggest one. And if I can get through March 15th, it'll get a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, it's going to be pretty intense.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I get it, man. I know that it's a lot right now, but you'll make it through. You'll do it. You are doing it. So
exactly. And now I'm taking a break from it to podcast.
Heck yeah. Talk about some college football.
Exactly.
Yeah. But should we start with some not so good news before we get into a more fun part, just to get that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for everyone, we're going to finish up our talking about the Big Ten schedule, and then we're going to do Big Ten coaching rankings.
Yeah.
But first, before we get to that, we have some nonsense we need to talk about that's just in the national college football news. So you want to introduce it?
Well, I don't have what I have right now pulled up is that this is going to be a college football round table. And it's going to be, I guess it's going to have President Donald Trump, Nick Saban, and Cody Campbell, Tim Tebow, and others for White House.
Sounds like a lot of SEC representation.
It sure
sounds like a lot of SEC representation. So Donald Trump's going to sit down with his voters.
Yep, essentially. Basically. That's what this is.
Uh-huh.
And Cody Campbell, which of course I'm sure donated an obscene amount of money to the Trump campaign, is my guess, and will continue to do so because he's got an obscene amount of money.
But he gave it to Texas Tech. Yeah, Texas Tech had the best defensive line money could buy last year.
Absolutely. And Cody Campbell is desperate for Texas Tech to be as relevant as Ohio State, Michigan, all the helmet schools out there.
Yeah.
He's desperate for that to happen. And that's fair. That's okay. I understand that aspiration.
Totally.
Cool. I respect that. That's great. You got the money. You're going to try to make it happen. By all means, do what you can. But
take a swing. Good luck.
The way he's going about it is not okay by me, and frankly, I don't think it's actually okay by anyone, for sure in the Big Ten, and actually in the SEC. I don't see this flying for either of the Power 2 conferences at all, because essentially what this does will allow the government or a government body, whatever that may be, to dictate what each school does, what each conference does, and realign, move things around, tell you who you can schedule, when you can schedule. So now you've lost all autonomy whatsoever. And that's just not good. That's not good for anyone. I mean, it may be better for which obviously the three entities that are pushing it the hardest, the conference are like the G6,
ACC and the Big 12,
and the ACC and the Big 12. So, which is not a surprise because they want more money. They feel left out because they're no longer on the same level by any means to the Big Ten and the SEC.
Because their games aren't as valuable.
Exactly.
Not as many people watch them. Period.
Exactly.
So we have more alumni.
Yeah. So what this is doing is like they're going to discuss having some kind of plan to make this more equitable. And frankly,
there's no such thing as equity in college football.
There has never been. There never will be. And the farce really is that like what do you really think that all of a sudden Wake Forest is going to be making the same kind of money of LSU or Ohio
Wake Forest
State?
Is like a small private school. Same with all the ACC schools. They want what they want. It's funny because all these people would tell you they hate socialism, but what they want are handouts.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they want the Big Ten and the SEC to share their pot of gold.
Yep.
With everybody else. And why would the Big Ten and the SEC agree to that? Because if you allow all of a sudden you're giving up that kind of money, that's your competitive advantage. Is that money? That money and your alumni base. That's your competitive advantage if you're a Big Ten team. So if you're an SEC team. So it doesn't make any sense, at all, for them to even consider going along with this plan.
No, it's absolutely foolish, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Big Ten and the SEC are going to give this up, and it's just funny to me that Cody Campbell has been campaigning for this for a while now, and somehow has paid his way, is my guess. I'm
sure he greased the correct wheels and gave to the right campaigns to get an audience with Trump.
Exactly. So that's my guess, and how this has even gotten this far is because of that. But he would rather, instead of earning his way up to the level of a helmet school like Oregon did, in a way. I mean, Oregon paid for it, but they paid for it and then therefore earned it on the field. They played the games and they won, and they continue to do so, which is why they are where they are. They have a Phil Knight. Well, Texas Tech has Cody Campbell. They're doing the same thing, but instead of being patient and allowing it to build and get to that point of an Oregon,
he's trying to kneecap everybody else.
Everyone.
That's not how it works. You have to
destroy the whole thing.
You can't bring everybody else down. That's what he wants to do. You have to take Texas Tech and bring them up.
Exactly.
And you can do that because you're in the Big 12 and you have the deepest pockets in the Big 12. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some Mormon money. Sure. There's some there are a couple other well-resourced programs to that extent, but it's not a long list in the Big 12 of schools that have those kind of deep pockets. So it doesn't even make sense to me, because to me, if you're Texas Tech, you're in a great position.
Absolutely.
You should be the most talented team in every conference, or the highest. I don't know if they're the most talented. We'll say the highest paid team. In your conference.
Yeah.
So when you play conference games, you should have the advantage and you should win the vast, most of the time.
Yep.
So Texas Tech is in a good position, but it's so dumb. It's I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good analogy here, but I'm not coming up. I usually off the dome, but that's the thing. I'm under stress, John. My brain is not clicking like I need it to click right now. I was call it up. And it just usually it comes to my head. Didn't have anything there. But the point is, the Big Ten and the SEC have spent their entire existence getting to the point of being this powerful.
Absolutely.
They're not giving up the money or the power.
A
They're not doing
century
it.
plus. No.
Yeah.
No. They have earned the place that they're at right now.
Yes.
Period. So you want to get there, work your way up. You come to us.
you can't think, I'm sorry, you can't say that Wake Forest with their small alumni base suddenly gets to have as much money as like Indiana or Minnesota or Wisconsin or Iowa, who has a legit bigger NIL and bigger funding and bigger fan bases.
Yep.
Like, no, that's not the way it works. The way it works is if people watch your games the most, if you're in the conference and you have the most people watching your games, you get the most money.
Well, and the thing is this is all to do with the TV rights. Now,
yes.
So, but here the thing is, all these people who like they're trying to sell this as, oh, this is going to make everyone equal. No, it's not. Okay, no. Texas Tech, if that's the case,
it's going to kneecap.
Take some of your NIL money then and distribute it among
to the rest of the Big 12.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you split that up? Texas Tech, shouldn't you be sharing that money?
Yeah. I mean, if that's the way we're going to go, but that they're not talking about that aspect of it, of course.
No.
So again, even if this plan goes through and on paper, to at least as far as the media rights deals go, like everything is equal, supposedly. That doesn't mean that Ohio State isn't still going to have the biggest NIL collective and get the best players every single year. That doesn't change. It really doesn't change anything. No. It just screws up the conferences. It implodes the whole everything that like we all love and appreciate.
And it would hurt the Big Ten and SEC middle class teams the most.
Yeah. Well, it's going to hurt everyone essentially, you know. And whatever. It's foolish. It's stupid.
It's not going to happen. It's just a selfish money grab on their part, and it's like it's like they're trying to invite themselves to your dinner party, but they're not going to bring anything.
There you go.
It's a potluck where they're going to show up, but they're just going to eat.
Yep.
There's my analogy. Not when I wanted it, but it's here now. Yeah. It's like they showed up. Yeah. It's like you showed up at a potluck with nothing to eat or with nothing to contribute, but you want to eat all of it.
Yep.
Everything more than your fair share.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's about it though. We just had, I wanted to cover that a little bit because it needs to be discussed. It's just, it pointed out of how freaking idiotic it is. And it should never happen. This discussion shouldn't even be happening. This roundtable.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's Cody Campbell sounds a little ridiculous to me now. I don't know that much about him, but like, that sounds ridiculous to me that he thought that this was going to be like, how dumb does he think the SEC and the Big Ten, like commissioners and like presidents and athletic directors are? How dumb does he think they are?
It's wild. Because,
this isn't a game. Like this isn't a game of Monopoly. We don't all start with equal resources. That's not how this works.
Yep. Yeah. And just because you feel slighted or you're like, oh, I don't. It's like, I mean, it's like having a nagging little brother that wants to play, you know, with you on your varsity football team, but he's 10 years old. Like, that's not how this is going to go, man. You got to work up. You got to earn your way. Get a little older. Get a little bigger. Get a little stronger.
Yeah.
Then then maybe you'll be at our level one day. Like, but it's not yet. You'll get there, but it takes time. So, and Texas Tech absolutely has the ability to do that. It's just not going to happen overnight, and you're not going to. You need to earn that respect. You don't just. It's not given to you.
No, and he also knows that he wants a bigger cut of TV revenue because the truth is, from all reports, Texas Tech has to pay more for the same players than other schools because nobody wants to live in Lubbock, man. Nobody wants to live in Lubbock.
And I've been to Lubbock.
You have.
Oh, dude.
I mean, it's not much.
No, it makes Fargo, North Dakota look like a freaking like metropolis, like paradise,
like a major city.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Bismarck.
Oh, okay.
And I know we're talking about places that maybe, obviously, you know, we grew up here, so like, you know, but it's a little.
Bismarck is depressing.
It's depressing. Lubbock.
If it weren't for the capital, they wouldn't have anything.
No, Lubbock is very depressing. So but yeah. So anyway, that's it. Just wanted to cover that quickly, and then we can move on here and finish talking about these Big Ten schedules and all that. So,
So we left off. We had just finished Oregon. We were talking about Penn State. So Penn State has like a really interesting schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you look Marshall, Temple, and Buffalo, like. Those are all pretty good football programs.
Yeah.
you know, and Buffalo especially has been really good. I mean, we saw that last year against the Gophers. They're good.
Yeah, they're solid.
Like, they're
for sure.
So like Penn State's going to be it's not an out of conference like power conference opponent, but Penn State's going to be tested a little bit in the out of conference. So I think that's interesting. You get one thing that jumps out at me is you got a perfect bye. Week 8 bye. 13 weeks, week 8. I think that's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if I had to pick a single week to have a bye, that's a good one. So, yeah, so there's that. I think that, well, here, we'll just I'll run down their schedule real quick. So they are, like we talked about, they're hosting Marshall, then Temple, then Buffalo. Then they host Wisconsin to start Big Ten play. They go to Northwestern to the new Ryan Field. And then they have USC at Michigan, Purdue at Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, finish the year at Maryland. So it's pretty favorable, right?
I think it's pretty favorable. I mean, you're looking at, USC and Michigan and Washington. Like those will, I think going to Michigan is always difficult.
Yes.
Having USC at home is nice because obviously, you get the travel aspect of that, the time zone changes. I'm really intrigued for both programs when it comes to the Wisconsin game. Because this is a brand new head coach.
That's a really interesting opener.
Yeah, brand new team. And essentially Wisconsin, not a brand new coach, but a brand new team because it's all transfers.
On offense, anyway. The defense, they bring back some good stuff. Like Wisconsin. And I will say those young Wisconsin linebackers are great.
Oh, they're great. Absolutely. So I think that'll be an interesting game right off the bat to open Big Ten play there. And you'll see I think you'll get a really good idea of where each team stands. If Wisconsin can put up a good fight and score some points, well, then maybe things have changed for Luke Fickell finally. But I'm very interested to see where Matt Campbell and how he can do with the transfers and bringing in some of his guys into Penn State and seeing how that works. Basically, putting the Cyclones into blue and white. So that's where we're at. So
yeah, I think we've got 7 starters projected at Penn State who were Iowa State players.
Yeah, something like that,
including quarterback Rocco Becht.
Yep. Yeah.
Who Rocco Becht, I think best Nittany Lion quarterback since Trace McSorley.
You think so?
I think so.
It's very possible.
Rocco Becht is legit, dude.
I think he's good. I don't think he's Trace McSorley, but I think he's definitely.
No. I didn't. I said since.
Since.
Since Trace McSorley.
Yes. My bad.
I think he's better than Sean Clifford.
Yep.
Oh my God. I think he's better than. He's definitely better than Drew Aller.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Rocco Becht is a very solid quarterback. Penn State is fascinating, man. I don't know what to expect, but if they are, let's say they are as good as they usually are, right? Like, so I'd say not like they were last year.
Can they pass the ball? Do they have wide receivers? That's my big question.
Do they have wide receivers? That is the question. And I don't know. Because Iowa State's best wide receivers went to the NFL.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
That's going to make a big difference is the wide receiver play. Because I feel like they'll figure it out on defense. It's Penn State. They have enough athletes to play defense, I think, still.
Well, I think they'll be able to find a running game because they generally just do.
Yes.
But, who does Rocco Becht throw the ball to?
Yeah, who does he throw the ball? Yeah. Who does he throw the ball to? For sure.
Yeah.
But, dude, if they were as good as they normally are, you look at this schedule and say 10-2, maybe 11-1.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If they're as good as they've been some years. We won't say usually, but I'll say under Franklin, the good years, like half the time or more.
Yep.
About half the time. You could look at this and say that the only games they're not going to be favored in are USC and Michigan. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to that Wisconsin and Northwestern. They got to start out. I think they got to start out 5-0.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you drop one of those first two to Wisconsin or Northwestern, then suddenly it looks like it could be a longer season. And oh man, poor Purdue. Penn State gets the bye before them. Rough. Rough on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think it's pretty favorable. I could definitely see, like 8-4 to maybe 11-1 season.
Yes, I would say that's the range for sure.
Yeah.
I think the games you are looking at, USC and Michigan, are the ones you're not going to be favored in. And then, but among, I would say, Minnesota, Washington, and Northwestern, like how many of those games and Rutgers, how many of those games do you win?
Yeah. Yep.
Because I don't know, man. I think Wisconsin's going to be a much better team later in the year than earlier in the year.
Sure.
And I do wonder, like, if you want to play Wisconsin, you want to play them early because they have so many new pieces. And like they were so bad last year, and so their confidence is not in a good place yet.
Yeah.
So like I think getting Wisconsin early bodes well for them. And then against Northwestern, there's going to be a big talent advantage for Penn State. I don't know, man. If they can split, what if they split? If they start 5-0 and they split USC and Michigan, you could be talking about 11-1.
Yeah, playoff bound. Yeah, very
but
much
like
so.
I said, I'm with you. I could also see 8-4 just as easily.
Yeah,
and lose some of the toss-up games to teams that that are competitive, that you traditionally have had some trouble against.
Which is why, like, I think that Wisconsin game is going to show us, I think, pretty early, where this team is gonna be. Are they going to be 8-4, or are they going to be maybe 9-3, or could they go 11-1? Who knows? Yeah. So and be playoff bound. I don't know. I think there's a lot to be seen. I am also just interested to see how Matt Campbell coaches at this level. I know the Big 12 is competitive. I'm not trying to totally, be that guy, but the Big 10 is a different kind of monster. And so we'll see how he does making the jump. We've seen other coaches make the jump and not do too well before where they had a lot of success. So it'll be really interesting, but he's got a lot of resources there at Penn State. That's for sure.
Yes. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Should we move on and talk about the Boilermakers?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, Purdue starts the year against the Sycamores of Indiana State, which is a good starting game, but
better win that.
I don't like this schedule for them.
No, this is a rough schedule in my opinion.
So they play Wake Forest. They play Wake Forest in week 2? Host them. John, did you know that Wake Forest won 9 games last year under first-year coach, I forget his first name, Dickert?
Yep.
9-4 at Wake.
Yep.
In year 1 at Wake. Okay, so that's a tough game.
Yep.
Then you got to go play Nico on the road. And then you play Notre Dame, who is, projected to be a top 10 team in the country.
Yep.
Next year.
As always.
And then it doesn't get any much better. You host Minnesota and Washington. Then you got to go to Penn State. Yikes. You host Maryland, but you got to go to Iowa. You host Wisconsin, and then you finish the year at Indiana.
Yeah.
Barry Odom did a good job last year. We'll talk about that when we get to coaching grades.
Yep.
They were much more, they were 5-7, but they were much more competitive.
Yeah.
They had chances to win Big Ten games. There were games they were in.
I think Odom showed that he's a good coach for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he's really good at teaching his defensive backs to clutch and grab and get away with it. Is what we learned when we played them, because we were just getting mugged in that game.
Yeah.
Just getting mugged all game. And Purdue, it wasn't just against us. They did it against other teams too.
Yep. Yep.
For sure. So you get the bye in week 8, which is good. Although it's a bye week before Penn State. I don't know. I think you want that bye week before a more winnable game.
Yeah.
Preferably. But what are you doing, Purdue, playing Wake Forest and Notre Dame out of conference.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Like, what are you trying to do to Barry Odom? Because Purdue could be great this year or they could be improved this year. They could be better than they were last year. And do you think they for sure go bowling? Because I don't.
No.
I mean, I think the Wake is a toss-up. They're gonna lose to Notre Dame. So they're starting out 3-1 or maybe just 2-2.
Yeah.
They're not going to be favored against Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Penn State, Iowa, or Indiana.
Yeah.
For sure. They're not going to be favored in any of those games.
More than likely, yes. I agree. Yeah.
The only games they might be favored in maybe are Maryland and Wisconsin, I think, in the conference. And even that, Maryland has Malik Washington. I would tilt that way right now. If I had to pick. Sorry, no hate to Ryan Brown, but I don't think he's Malik Washington.
No, not even close. No.
But I also think Barry Odom's probably a better coach than Mike Locksley. So I don't know. But yeah, I think Purdue could be a better team this year and still go like 4-8 or 5-7.
I could see a lot of close games. Unfortunately, some heartbreakers. I think, I agree. I think 4-8, 5-7. There is a path to 6-6, I think, as well.
There's a path. Got to beat Wake. Got to beat Wake.
Yeah, if you beat Wake, I can definitely I could see a strong.
You got to beat Wake, and then out of Illinois, Minnesota, and Washington, you need to win one of those games.
Yep.
Because that gets you to 4, and then the last 2, then you gotta, then you're hoping you can beat Maryland and Wisconsin.
Well, in Illinois, to me right now, obviously I have not done a ton of research into any of these teams at this point, which we are going to, but just right now, Illinois is the biggest question mark just because I know they lost Luke Altmaier. So like that would be the one.
Yeah, Luke Altmaier was there forever.
That might be gettable, but yeah.
I mean, it all depends. It all depends how good Caden Hauser is.
Yeah. Yep.
I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yep.
East Carolina went 8-4 last year. He threw for 3,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 picks. Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
It is.
So I think he'll be. I think he's not going to be Luke Altmaier because Luke Altmaier is fantastic.
Yeah.
Still, he was like Altmaier's weirdly underrated, isn't he? I feel like he didn't get any love this year, even though he had a great season.
Well, I think it's because he just like we didn't give him credit. That first year we saw him, you and I were kind of down on him, and then he, for his last 2 years, he was absolutely fantastic.
He was lights out.
But I still feel like for whatever reason, people, again, let's just say really what it is the logo on the side of the helmet.
It's the logo, and you know what the other thing is besides the logo? The Indiana game. Everybody tuned Illinois out after that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it was just such a beating. What was it, like 56-7?
Yeah.
And even though Illinois ended up 9-4, had a very good year.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like people just kind of didn't forgive them. It's like Illinois ended unranked at 9-4 in the Big Ten, which is they should be ranked if you're 9-4 in the best conference in college football, in my opinion. Not ranked high, but you should be in the top 25.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. And like, what kind of ceiling does Ryan Brown have? Like, he's pretty athletic. So if his passing is a little better this year, if he's a little more accurate, maybe makes a little better decisions in, year 2 as a starter in that offense, maybe they're a little better. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible for him to grow a little bit, but I don't really have high expectations of him. I
know. I don't either, but I'm just saying, if you're a Purdue fan, there is some upside there with him just because he's a good athlete.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So they start off the year on a Thursday, which I always think is an advantage to have a Thursday or Friday game because it gives you that extra day or 2 of rest for week 2 and like to game plan. Yep. They say teams make, coaches like to say that football teams make their biggest improvements between weeks 1 and 2.
Yep.
That's the biggest improvement they usually make all year. So I think having that first game, like Minnesota always does, like some Big Ten teams do, is nice to have that on a Thursday. And it's against UMass, and UMass is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. But then you gotta go to Chestnut Hill and take on Boston College.
Mm-hmm. Plucky team.
Yeah, they play hard. They play hard
Mhm.
for sure. Then you've got, it's a little weird schedule. You get USC then, but you get to host them. And then you have another, after playing that conference game, then you finish non-conference against the Howard Bison. So that all sets up pretty okay. I mean, you're going to lose to USC, and like the Boston College, I think, is kind of a coin flip. And then you got to play the defending national champs.
Yeah.
But then you get an early bye.
Mhm.
And well, I don't think an early bye is the best thing in the world. I think for Rutgers, it's kind of perfect because coming out of that bye, you've got at Maryland and at Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
So those are both really winnable games.
Yeah.
So you get your bye before those, which I think is good. And then down the stretch, you host Michigan, got to go to Wisconsin, host Nebraska, go to Penn State, and then finish off the year hosting Sparty. I'm blanking. Do we know for sure, I'm off the top of my head, who Rutgers quarterback is this year?
I don't know at this point. Let me see.
Rutgers Q. Because Ethan Kaliakmanis, he was not clutch. He in key situations he was struggled, but he had a really good year last year overall.
So they're saying transfer Dylan Lonergan from Boston College or freshman Xavier Stern is also in the mix.
Okay.
So
an old-fashioned quarterback competition. You don't get a lot of those in college football anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Lonergan did not do a lot to my knowledge at Boston College. That he was not super impressive. I think he's maybe just fine. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, we'll have to do more research, but I don't.
And there's also a guy named AJ Sirachi.
Okay.
Yeah, says he might be the primary contender.
Okay.
Known for his high football IQ and leadership, which is a good way of saying he's slow. That's generally what when you talk about a guy, a football player, especially a quarterback, and you're like, oh, he's really heady. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart player out there. You're like, he's slow.
Yeah.
That's generally what that means. So that's interesting. Yeah, man. Rutgers, they finally got rid of Rob Smith.
Yeah.
So the defense should be better. It should be more of a Shiano defense, what we expect to see from Rutgers, right?
Yep.
So I would imagine that Rutgers will be extremely improved on defense next year. The problem is they could be not as good on offense.
Yeah.
And they lost. Didn't Ian Strong leave or is he still for Rutgers, or did he leave in the portal? No, he went to Cal, didn't he? Yeah, dude.
No.
They lost Ian Strong to Cal.
Oof.
That's rough.
Which
Ian
to me,
Strong's really good.
If you're losing your top wide receiver, he knows something's not going to be great with the quarterback situation.
That's my concern.
Yeah.
And he saw Jaren Kiave Sagaputele and was like, "Yeah, he can throw me the ball."
Yep, he sure can.
Yeah, dude, I hate that for Rutgers because I think if they still had him, I mean, we'll see. Maybe Shiano's done a pretty good job at wide receiver over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some guys there, but this might be what I guess, because this is just the type of program Rutgers is. This might be more of a rebuilding year for Rutgers, It
does feel like a rebuilding year, doesn't it?
Kind of does to me, yeah. So
really,
I feel like, you got to be a little patient this year, Scarlet Knight fans. I think that this isn't going to, even though the schedule isn't like terrible, there's definitely winnable games.
It's challenging.
But it's, I would keep my expectations relatively low.
I hate having to play Boston College and USC in weeks 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Because you could be 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not where you want to be.
Yeah. Well, and getting beat up by Indiana.
Yeah, dude. Indiana's so physical. They're so
it's still crazy. I still feel so crazy saying that.
Saying that Indiana's just a juggernaut when they were terrible. Yeah, they came out with the best records of like teams as underdogs since 2021.
Yeah.
Indiana had the worst record in the whole league still.
Yeah. Yep.
as an underdog. But of
Yep.
course, like, under Signetti, they haven't been underdogs.
Of course. Yeah.
Very much.
But yeah,
and,
man.
And who is second worst? Nebraska. And the teams who are doing a good job were like Oregon, Minnesota, Illinois, some schools like that were really good. And also at the bottom, Penn State.
Wild, right?
Penn State 2-13 as an underdog.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years.
Which is why, I guess the argument for firing James Franklin right there, I can get it.
Well, yeah, because even if you take out all the Ohio State losses, that's still 2-8.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a rebuilding year, but Shianu, man, he'll beat somebody he shouldn't.
He always does.
I mean, he's a good enough coach.
Yep.
That he's gonna sneak up on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see. Do you think they're gonna make a bowl game's first snap judgment right now?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I think they start 2-3.
Yeah,
and from there, even if they beat Maryland, which they usually do, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love them. I feel like Northwestern's gonna be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think Northwestern's going to be better than people are anticipating.
Yeah, like significantly better.
Yeah.
I think maybe Aiden Childs just needed because here's the thing. You know what he gets with Chip Kelly? You get a running game.
Yep. Yes,
and if you have an actual running game, that can make it a lot easier for the quarterback to make decisions because he doesn't have to make as many of them.
Yep. And then Aiden Childs, who is a freak athlete, could start to utilize some of that athleticism and really start making some great plays. And I think that, I mean, I know we already talked about Northwestern, but I'm nervous about them. I think people are going to be taken by surprise at how good they could be this year.
It could be a big year for David Braun, man.
I think so.
A big year for David Braun because I do think, with Aiden Childs, and I think they got Griffin Wilde is back for another year. I'm pretty sure at receiver.
And they have Komalafe. They've got
Komalafe is a very nice back.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I can see him, and now with Chip Kelly scheming up stuff in the run game for him.
Yeah,
I
think they're going to punish some teams, some defenses, man. I really do. I think they're going to.
Oh yeah, they're going to be physical.
Yeah,
they're going to be real physical for sure. I don't think there's any question about it.
Yep. But Rutgers, man, I think it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year. So patience. That's all I say.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have UCLA. So for reasons best known to them, they are starting the year at Cal, which in week 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Then they host San Diego State. They host Purdue. Got to go to Maryland. And then they get a bye. And then after that bye, and so it's an early bye for them. After that bye, they have to go to Autzen to play Oregon, host Wisconsin, host Michigan State. Then they host Nevada in the latest, I believe, non-conference game on the schedule for any Big Ten team on Halloween. That's a weird time to play your last non-conference game, but okay. Then they got to play at Minnesota, host Illinois, go to Michigan, and they end the year hosting their rival USC.
First thing I got to say, just to get this out of the way. So I think it's interesting that they wouldn't put USC up in Minnesota late in the season, but they're going to put UCLA late in the season up.
Because they don't care about UCLA.
They don't. That's so true. But I just wanted to point that out. So
no, you're right. And they would never send USC into the cold late in the year against anybody.
No, you're never going to see them going up and playing, we'll get to USC, and we'll talk about
it. Yeah, dude, that's going to be November. That could be a cold game.
Yeah, it could be.
The Minnesota UCLA game. I hope it is.
And then
I hope for
Maliava,
this.
I mean, like, I know he runs, he's a scrambling quarterback, so we'll see how that works out up there. But I feel like that's an interesting game. But yeah, but to start the season off against Cal is pretty brutal, man. Jesus.
Sangapulitele.
Pulatele. Jeez. He's the truth. He's a freak. We'll see if that UCLA defense got any better. I know that they were looking better towards the end of the season last year, but it's a tough way to start out the gate.
Yeah, it's tough, and I don't like that the bye week is before going to Oregon.
Yeah,
because you're not going to beat Oregon, so like it's kind of a wasted bye week.
Yeah,
because like you want your bye week before a game you can win,
so
that you're extra ready for it, kind of thing. If they can beat Cal, they could be 4-0.
Yeah.
If they can beat Cal, they could be 4-0. And Nico's really good. I just don't know what they're going to look like at the skill positions again. Like, are they going to be, do they have enough to help Nico? They have good enough wide receivers to help him. Because the defense, I think, will be okay.
Yeah.
And Bob Chesney is a very good coach. We think.
I feel like Nico wouldn't have stayed had they not have someone coming up who he trusts that he can throw the ball to.
Right, because he had a good enough year. He could have gone somewhere else.
Yes, he could have.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So I think there's got to be someone there that he feels good enough to stick around for. Look, man, I think UCLA is actually a bowling team. I think they can go 6-6 with this schedule.
Yeah. I kind of think so too, and I think Nico's going to have them in a lot of games.
Yep, absolutely. He's honestly, man, it's crazy like how he proved a lot of people wrong, man. He really did do the complete opposite of what I was assuming was going to happen with him when he came to UCLA, and he stepped up in a big way. He carried that team, so he's an impressive player, man.
He was. I thought he was going to fall apart under that pressure.
Same.
I did, and he got the job done.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, moving on to USC, who is going to play somebody in week 0, but we don't know who. We don't know because they pulled out of the Notre Dame game because Notre Dame wanted to play them later in the year, and USC said absolutely not. So they pulled out of that, and now they have to get someone to play in week 0. It's kind of sneaky to play in week 0, though, John, because now USC gets something that no one else gets, which is 2 byes.
Yep.
So, like, that's an advantage, I think, for the Trojans this year. It'll probably be like I think somebody was saying, why not just play NDSU? Or I think, is that happening now? I heard a rumor they were talking about that when NDSU.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, no, I haven't heard that.
About NDSU starting at USC.
I feel like I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Big Ten is going to want more of a high-profile game, although that would get a lot of eyes.
It's week 0. You're not going to get high-profile games, really.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? It'll be interesting. I think, first off, I got to applaud USC for telling Notre Dame to go stick it where the sun don't shine. So I appreciate that, USC. We should all do that, actually, collectively.
Oh, yeah.
But, I know Wisconsin and Purdue didn't sign up yet, but hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll get there one day. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I guess NDSU would be
San Jose State. They're playing San Jose State.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, whatever. I mean, that's fine. It's another Mountain West team.
True.
Right. So they got that. So that's how they started. They'll start out with that, and then they get Fresno State, who's always plucky. Fresno State's always a competitive, solid program. We know that. And then the Raging Cajuns, Louisiana. And then it's, they got to go to Rutgers, host Oregon, Washington, at Penn State, bye week, at Wisconsin, Ohio State at home, at and then you got another bye, and then at Indiana, host Maryland, end the year at UCLA.
Well, that second bye comes in pretty nicely. So I think just you're going to need it to recover.
Second bye is clutch because
you're going to need it after playing Ohio State too.
Yes,
so,
yes, you are.
Yep.
And having a bye before Indiana, have 2 weeks for Lincoln Riley to scheme it up against Indiana. I like that for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good deal. I mean, the schedule sets up pretty nice, but it's a very difficult one though.
That's actually an underrated thing for Indiana. They've got some tough games for teams coming off buys.
Yep.
So we see they've got to play USC coming off a bye. They also have to play Minnesota coming off, or I guess we're not coming off a bye, but we're close to being. But it's at the end of 8 straight, games.
Yeah.
And it's like 1 week removed from our bye week.
Mm-hmm.
I think bye weeks are so key for teams to get refreshed a little bit and guys to get back to full strength when they've been getting banged up every week.
Yeah.
It's such a reset for the season, I think. So yeah, I think that's a really good break for USC. Man, here's the thing. If Lincoln Riley is the guy, he should make the playoff this year, shouldn't he?
Yeah. I feel like he has to, right? Like this is
the only games you're not going to be favored are Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah.
You're going to be favored in every other game. Well, I guess maybe Indiana. We'll see. We don't know about Indiana because we don't know what Curt Cignetti has stored. But let's say, so at most you're going to be an underdog in 3 games, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
If USC just had the number 1 recruiting class, if they are what people think they should be, Jaden Mayava's back for another year. He's really good. He had an amazing year last year.
Yep.
Like USC should be ready to roll.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't make the playoff this year, I think Lincoln Riley, I think that's it.
I mean, it's you're playing Oregon. Washington's going to be difficult. Ohio State and Indiana. And and who knows? Penn State could also be very good. So it's a really tough schedule.
It's a tough schedule, but this is USC.
Yep. Yeah.
It is. No, you're right. It's a very tough schedule. Starting out, you got to go Oregon, Washington, Penn State in that order. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Playing Ohio State is always hard.
When it's at Happy Valley, that's hard.
Yeah.
I think if they do make the playoff, it'll be at 10-2.
No, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think they're going to
honestly, they could be a team with that difficulty of schedule if they are 9-3. They could be a team that's
possibly
not going to get in, but has an argument.
Yep. Yeah.
Very close. Possible. So I guess I take it back. I guess if USC goes 9-3, I guess I don't think you can fire Lincoln Riley for that.
No, not with this
he
schedule.
better at least go 9-3 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and look really, really good doing it. Yeah,
because if you lose to Washington, man, or Penn State, then I don't know. I don't know how things are going to go.
Well, I think the way he could really guarantee that he's not going to get fired is if he gets Jaden Mayava at least to New York City and for the Heisman Trophy. I think if he gets him there,
point. They love
then they do love that.
They love that there. They love the Heisman at USC. They love Heisman more than they like titles, I think.
I think so too. So I think if he can get him there, not saying he wins the title or wins the Heisman, but if he can get him to New York, I think that'll also endear him enough to the fan base that he'll stick around for a while.
Okay. All right. Second to last, we have the Washington Huskies. They start out with the rivalry game against Washington State, but who is now a group of 6 team. So not quite as much of a rivalry the same way. Utah State, who's always tough. And then EWU, which is
Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington. So it was a good FCS program.
Yep.
Sure. And then it gets real. Then you got to play Minnesota, go to USC, Iowa. That's 3 tough games right there. Then you go to Purdue and to Nebraska, host Penn State, at Sparty, host Indiana, at Oregon. Ooh, November, man. November.
Yeah.
Penn State, Indiana, and Oregon.
That's brutal.
Ooh. That's a tough schedule for the Huskies, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough schedule. You could potentially be 3-3. Not saying you're gonna be, but you could be.
Again, I think that offense is going to be really, solid, really good. Yes. Their new running back looks incredible. Damon Williams is back. I think they'll have guys to throw to, obviously. It's just, again, it's the defense. Like, how well do they stand up throughout the season? They were pretty good last year.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. It's where is the defense and how do they replace Oh God, the receiver. I'm blanking.
Denzel Boston.
Yeah, Denzel Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they replace him?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's really incredible.
He's amazing. Yeah.
But it's Jedd Fisch, so I believe he'll have receivers.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too.
I agree. I agree with you. I think Washington, it all comes down to defense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a really tough schedule. I think one of the tougher ones we've seen.
Yeah, I still think they go bowling, but it'll be a season between like 6-6 or 8-4, that or maybe 9-3. I don't know. But it's going to be one of those. I feel like a season for Washington where they're going to be close in a lot of games because their offense is so good, but then maybe drop a couple that they shouldn't. But I still don't see this team competing for like a college football playoff yet.
No, I don't think Damon Williams is good enough. He's a one-read quarterback.
Yeah.
I think once you figure him out,
yeah,
in the teams where it's just athleticism is too much and he can throw the ball on the run, and when he does stuff like that, he's really tough. But like, if you can hold him in the pocket and make him make decisions,
yep,
he's not very good.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of upside, but like, I don't. And of course, the Damon Williams thing. How much does he want to be there? He tried to leave.
Yeah.
How much do his teammates want him to be there?
Yeah.
He tried to leave.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's going to really be tested. It's going to be really tested with Washington. Like, we're going to see what kind of a coach Jedd Fisch is, because there's a lot of adversity going into the season for the Huskies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No question about it. All right. And then we have the Wisconsin Badgers. And they start out the year in a neutral site game against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a loss, Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why did they keep that on the schedule? When they saw how the last 3 years have gone, why did they keep this Notre Dame game on the schedule?
I know that Wisconsin, we're told all the time about how, we schedule, and again, are fine. You schedule like big games, you do all that kind of stuff. That's great. For out of conference, but sometimes, especially the way things are going, man, like it's been rough. It's been rough for Wisconsin, and you need something to start out that season that's going to be a little bit easier. You want a challenge, great, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I would feel about starting out the season with what's been going on in Madison, with a program like Notre Dame. That's going to be brutal. So
no, and it's at Lambeau Field, so they'll have the fan advantage, but it's not their home field.
But also, you're always like, you've lost how many quarterbacks early in the season? You want to really put them in the line of fire against Notre Dame to start out the freaking season like that? Like, I don't know.
Dude. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that. So we start out neutral site game against Notre Dame. That's a loss. That's a loss.
Yeah.
Western Illinois, Eastern Michigan, at Penn State, Michigan State, at UCLA, USC, at Iowa, Rutgers, at Maryland, at Purdue, host Minnesota to end the year.
Mm-hmm.
This is better than the schedule they had last year.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's more manageable. At the same time, you could be 2-2. And then you better beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
You better beat Michigan State, because if you lose to Notre Dame and Penn State and Michigan State, then it becomes a question of, can you even make a bowl game?
Mm-hmm.
And like that Penn State, those two games, Penn State and Sparty, they better win one of those games. And
yeah,
I don't think it matters which one, but like they have to win at least one of those. And even then, they'll still probably be 3-2 going into UCLA, USC, Iowa, Rutgers, Maryland, Purdue, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have that stretch, Rutgers, Maryland, Purdue.
Yep.
Those are all very winnable games where you could get some momentum potentially late in the season.
Yeah.
If you haven't come off the rails because the early season didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
So Wisconsin poured an entire offense. Like it's pretty much all new guys on offense. I think they kept like one offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what that's going to look like. I don't have any idea, but I don't think it's going to look good in week 1. That's what I don't think it is.
I have been told that they are going to dominate and, destroy pretty much everybody in their path. So that's That comes from some, not at all from some accounts that love to troll Gopher fans. Like, not at all. So, and I got to believe them. So, yeah. No, I think it's questionable. It could work. It could. I'm not saying it's not going to. I do think that Wisconsin will do better this year. I think, personally, I think they're going to go bowling again. I think they will get back to at least 6-6. I think that schedule just sets up too nicely for them. And it wouldn't surprise me to see 7-5 or 8-4. Like that.
No, they should go 8-4.
They should. Absolutely.
Did you see what Big Ten Ted said about it?
No.
He said he either wants them to go 8-4 or 5-7 because he doesn't want them to be 6-6 or 7-5 and like not know what to do about Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
Like either I want to know we're going to fire him or I want to know that we're keeping him. And like, I don't want to be in the, what do? You went 7-5 again. Like,
and that's where I would
that
feel the
good
same
enough
way.
in year 4.
Yeah. I would feel the exact same way if I were him, man. I really would. I'd be like, because I do think
which means I'm kind of rooting for them to go 6-6.
I wouldn't be mad at it. Like, it wouldn't upset me. It would be hilarious if they don't go bowling again.
Oh, it'd be so funny if they don't go bowling again.
But like, do we really want to lose Luke Fickell? Like,
no, I don't think we do. He's been good to us.
He's been good to us. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I do expect them to be better this year. I think there's definitely some reasons to be positive. And just hopefully, again, if you can keep your quarterback healthy, then that's, we'll see what goes. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe they truly are cursed. Maybe they took the curse from Nebraska and it's just making its rounds, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Colton Joseph will be interesting because he's like a dual threat, but like how much do you dare run him? I wouldn't run him that much probably. But like that's kind of what he's best at is running. So like you kind of have to with him, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what that offense looks like this year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It could be like Iowa under with Gronowski a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be as good. Not saying it's going to be as good.
Yeah.
But like kind of
possibly
ground and pound, get in your face. But if they can block anybody.
Well, and
they couldn't block anybody last year.
And Fickell, I think he said that he wants to get back to the old school, ground and pound running game. And so, which he never should have left.
Nope.
So if he does, and that's the case, then he has a running quarterback and he basically just takes the template of, what Kirk Ferentz did at Iowa last year. Well, then, yeah, maybe they'll have some success and they'll be able to win some games. Iowa clearly did very, very well, but also Iowa at this point recruits a heck of a lot better at offensive line. So
they develop a lot better.
They develop a lot better. And that's, so we'll see, man. We'll see.
Awesome. So those are the schedules.
Yeah. Right on.
All right. Are we going to run through coaching grades or what do you think?
Yeah, let's run through some coaching grades. I think we can make it through.
Yeah, we can see. We can start anyway, see how it goes, how much time we spend talking. And if we have to break it up into a different, we can see. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or we could just be really fast and just be what's a grade and not talk about it. But I don't.
I think we can be pretty brief right now because
we can be brief enough. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we can do that.
All right. So we're starting out. We're going to go bottom of the league to the top. Start out with the Purdue Boilermakers who went 0-9 in the Big Ten. And I'm going to tee it up, but we're not grading. We're grading Barry Odom because he was there last year.
Yep.
I'm going to let you start grading and I'm going to run to the restroom really fast.
Okay. All right. I'll just start from the bottom. So looking at Purdue, obviously last year, as we've spoken about when it comes to the Boilermakers, that, you had a brand new coach who frankly, I think personally did a fine job, even though I get it, went 0-9. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily but I think that there was real signs of improvement, at least as like a cohesive team. And I think there's reason to be positive and hopeful is when it comes to Barry Odom, because it looked like there was a solid team. It looks like there was, he was taking advantage of the talent that he had and finding ways to scheme things out and be competitive. Because Purdue had not looked competitive at all for the last couple of years. It was pretty embarrassing under Ryan Williams. And I think that now having a competent head coach, just kind of like what we saw with Nebraska, I think like you're seeing now with Barry Odom being competent and leading that program, you're seeing some actual strides in improvement from last year. And like I said, I was just saying, Mike, that they even though they went 0-9, they're, to me, from just an eye test, looked like they were improved. And how I was looking at Ryan Williams, it was, you always looked at that team as
Walters.
Walters.
Yeah.
And
he was totally incompetent. He had no idea what he was doing.
So this team, this Purdue team last year looked cohesive. It looked like they were together. Yeah. They looked like a team. They looked competitive. He was taking advantage of the talent that he had and was doing the best he could with it. So I do expect them to be better. But I got to give him a grade. I know 0-9. So, I mean, right now, first year, I'm trying to give him some credit there, but it's definitely going to have to sit at I'm going to give him a D-. I'm not going to say an F, even though I know he probably deserves it because he went 0-9, but I'm going to say D- because there was at least some competency you could tell within the team.
I'm going to surprise you here. I'm going to give him a B-.
Oh, wow.
Because Purdue in 2024, that wasn't just a bad team. That was one of the worst Big Ten teams I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
So to get from there to 5-7 and a competitive 5-7, I think those were big strides.
Yeah.
So I think Odom did a pretty good job, and I think you have to grade based on where people are, and I just think it's really hard to win at Purdue.
Well, okay. Well, if that's how we're gonna grade it, then yeah, I agree with you, and I would probably still give him maybe like a C+. Leaning towards the B-, but I do think that. Yes, he deserves more credit, and that record doesn't necessarily reflect how much improvement that he was able to bring within you.
And they didn't have very good athletes last year.
No.
So for them to be as competitive as they were, despite the lack of athleticism, I think once he recruits a little better, they could be, could be a problem.
Yep,
for sure. All right, moving on, we have the Maryland Terrapins. They went 1-8. In the conference, 4-8 overall, 3-4 at home. So not good times in College Park.
I'm gonna let you talk about while I run and use the bathroom real quick.
There we go. I am giving Mike Locksley a D-. 1-8 is inexcusable. He's been there a long time now. Many years. He's been through several recruiting cycles. He theoretically should have the guys he wants. So to still go 1-8 in the conference, I just think was pretty rough. They weren't competitive a lot of the time. If you look for, they got outscored by almost 40 points on the year. So they were, it wasn't fluky that they were losing the games or anything. They, they really and truly, they just struggled. They struggled a lot. So we like this podcast. We like Mike Locksley. We root for him. And I think he's got a really good thing going in Malik Washington. But even with Malik Washington, I just think, they have some issues, and he's never developed an offensive line. He never has. And, some of these losses last year, 27 or sorry, he had some close games against, Washington, against Nebraska, against UCLA. But he also had some games where they weren't very competitive, against Indiana, against Illinois, against Michigan, just weren't competitive flat out. So this is kind of put up or shut up year for Mike Locksley, I believe. I think he's got to find a way to take advantage of this schedule that he has. But it's going to be hard, and it's going to be hard because they have to play, Virginia Tech in the non-conference. I think having the fact that I think if Maryland really wanted Mike Locksley to succeed, I think playing that Virginia Tech game is not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
I gave Locksley a D.
Yeah. I mean,
or D-. I said D or D-. I mean, he was 1-8 and he's been there a long time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think The only redeeming factor I'm going to give him is the fact that he continues to find really good quarterbacks.
Yes,
And,
Malik Washington's great.
And like does very well with them. Like they are, unfortunately, that's the only thing. Like,
yeah,
seems to be the only thing. So I'm with you. I think that at this point, especially with how long he's been there, man, like he's got to produce more than what he's done. It just hasn't been good. I think the fact that he's still there is incredible to me. I don't know if they're just like saving up money to make a big hire. And obviously
I think they knew Malik Washington was leaving if they didn't keep him.
I think it's that, but also I think like last year's coaching carousel just wasn't a great time to switch coaches.
It was not a good time to be a new coach.
So like they're like, well, we'll keep Locksley on for relatively cheap maybe, and then we'll wait and see what happens next year with whoever's available. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, do you think Locksley sticks around even if they do make a bowl game? Do you think he still gets rehired next year?
If they make a bowl game, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Maryland, man. It's a basketball school.
Fair.
I don't think the expectations are that high. I think if he goes 7-5, I think he's like a darling of the Big Ten season.
Okay.
Because Maryland, found a way to be competitive and whatever. I really don't like that Virginia Tech game.
Yeah.
I don't like that early. I hate, for a team like Maryland that struggles as much in the Big Ten as they do. I wouldn't be playing, and like UConn's not a gimme either.
No, I mean Jim Mora left the program in pretty good shape.
Really good shape.
Yeah, so we'll see. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know with Maryland, man. I just I worry a little bit for Mike Locksley, and is this going to be it? But he's shown to have more lives than a cat.
That's so true. Yeah,
there's that. All right, Michigan State. This is an interesting one because we're grading the coach for this year. And the coach for this year wasn't coaching last year because it's Pat Fitzgerald. So I'm giving Pat Fitzgerald an A for getting hired, despite the fact that he's been out of coaching for several years, despite the fact that Northwestern's last 4 years, 2 of them, I think he went like 4-8 or worse.
Yeah.
And he still convinced the powers that be in East Lansing that he's the guy. He's the one to turn it around, even though he never had any success without Mike Hankwitz. As soon as Mike Hankwitz retired at Northwestern, they did not win the same way that they won when he was the defensive coordinator. So I think it really matters. Like, and he's keeping, I think Joe Rossi's out as defensive coordinator, but is staying as like an analyst or something.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Or am I wrong on that?
I have not heard anything like that. I'm not saying that didn't happen because obviously crazy stuff happens, but like I thought he was still on as their DC. I did not hear that.
Defensive coordinator. Oh no, it still is.
Yeah.
He did retain. Okay, so Fitzgerald decided to retain Joe Rossi. That's interesting.
Which I think is a smart move right now for this his first year.
Maybe.
I think smart.
Maybe. I don't know, man. A lot of it comes down to, can they score any points? Because Fitzgerald's teams normally play some defense, but they better play some real defense because they lost Nick Marsh. He went to Bloomington, unfortunately.
To me, it's like, can they get an offensive line and can they run the ball again? That's what they need to do. And if they can find a way to do that, then this team could be competitive. I think their defense got better last year as the season went on, but that offensive line and that run game was a joke. It was a joke.
It was bad.
So bad. So if he can find a way to improve there, I think then he might, he could make a season of it. I'm not expecting a bowl game by any means, but yeah, congratulations though, Pat.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Got another bunch of money. Yeah. After Northwestern had to pay him a lot of money, he's certainly going to be set up well financially.
And even if he falls flat on his face, who cares? You're walking away like multi-millionaire still.
Yeah, dude, that guy's he's laughing all the way to the bank. Pat Fitzgerald was, no question about it. Yep. It will be funny when they play Northwestern.
It will be. Yeah.
That'll be entertaining.
I'm very interested in
that. Yeah, because I'm sure Pat Fitzgerald, I wonder how he feels about the school at this point because he was Mr. Northwestern. He loved it more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And they turned on him.
Yeah.
And so, how does he feel about them at this point? Is it like mostly love or is it mostly hate? I think we'll be able to tell by his reactions on the sidelines where he's at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very intrigued by that game. I think
they better not lose that game. Sparty better not lose that game.
Yeah.
Because,
well, and it's his guy, his hire, David Braun.
That's what I'm saying. It's his guy. Yeah, Sparty better find a way to win that game, and I don't think they'll be favored.
No, I don't think so either.
All right. Next up, we have the Wisconsin Badgers. They went 2-7 in the Big Ten and 4-8. Just 4-8 overall. And John, they were outscored by 64 points on the year.
Oof.
64 points they were outscored by. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They could stop the run kind of, and they couldn't stop the pass.
Yeah.
So, that's how it was for Wisconsin last year. I think their linebackers, the good thing is their linebackers are very good. They're young linebackers, so I give Fickell credit there.
Yep.
But ultimately, man, this is an F. It was year 3.
Yeah.
Year 3, and you went 4-8 and only managed 2 Big Ten wins.
Mm-hmm.
I know they came towards the later in the year, so at least the team was improving, I guess.
Yeah.
But you still got run off the field plenty of times.
Yeah, I mean, these are all your guys now, Fick. Like,
yep.
These are your people, your guys. These are who you brought in, your system.
He's had a whole cycle. This is year 4 coming up.
Exactly.
Year 3 is already your guys, very much so.
Yes. So this is no longer on anyone else, on Paul Christ or what have you. So, no, man, I agree. I think it's an F. I think it's just been a failed experiment, period. I know that he's got another year here and maybe somehow he saves his job. But
Old Joseph better be real good.
Yeah. But
those new offensive linemen better be those new offensive linemen better be good too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's got, I think, 4 new ones? I mean, they portaled an entire offense. I think they only kept 1 offensive lineman. I think they have 10 new starters or something on offense.
Well, and I've, I've been told by some Badger fans that, they've got a 3-headed monster in the backfield too. So, they're going to run all over everybody again. You might as well it's just the second coming of Melvin Gordon and White and who.
Do they have anybody who scares you as a running back though?
No,
they don't.
They didn't last year either, but I was told to be afraid of Darian Dupree. So
he was not that good.
No. So
he was very average. Yeah.
And I'm not saying it couldn't happen. We're not saying that. Again, with Fickell is now at this point, you got to see it to believe it, man. And so I haven't seen it. This is the Nebraska thing, where it's the same thing with Nebraska is show me what you got. You're talking about all these recruits, all these transfers. You got all these new weapons and it's going to be amazing and nobody's going to beat us. And then, okay, well then show us.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I agree. All right. Next up, we have the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 2-7 in the Big Ten, 5-7 overall. I think to waste as good an offense as you had last year.
Yeah.
Not make a bowl game as good as you were on offense. You could throw the ball really well. You could run the ball really well. And you hired Rob Smith as defensive coordinator, and he torched your defense because that's what he does. He doesn't stop anybody. He only confuses his own players.
Yep.
That's what Rob Smith does. And then his players play slow because when you're confused, you play slow. And playing slow is death in football. You need to play as fast as possible if you're going to be successful. So that means if you need to simplify, sometimes you need to simplify, but Rob Smith won't do that.
No.
And so I think Shianu fully wasted a year with Rob Smith. And I am giving him, I like Shianu. I think he's a good coach. I'm giving him an F.
Oh, same. I'm giving him an F based solely on the fact that he kept Rob Smith for another year. I think that right there, you need to be punished for that. And I do think Shiano's a great coach. I really do. But yeah, man, that was just a stupid decision. And we said it from the moment we heard about the hire. So
yeah, so it was bad. I think it was Shiano's worst coaching job yet.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up, we had the Penn State Nittany Lions, who were 3-6, 7-6 overall, but we're not talking about James Franklin. who's the guy who lost a lot of those games before he got fired. We are talking about the new head coach. We are talking about Matt Campbell. And Matt Campbell did big things at Iowa State last year.
Yes, he did.
What did they go? I think they went 9-3, I want to say. Let me look. I'll look quick.
Yeah.
2020. I want to say they went 9-3, but maybe I'm wrong. They went 8-4.
Okay. Solid season.
Yeah, 8-4. So yeah, they had, and their 4 games came as 4 losses in a row.
Huh.
Weird.
I don't know if they what their injury situation was or anything last year. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really follow the Big 12.
Me either, for sure. But So Matt Campbell's a really good coach. You know, I think I would give him. I mean, I think even though they came short of expectations last, let's see, is this the right? I thought they played. Yeah, they did play Iowa. Okay, so they beat Iowa. Yeah. I think I would say like a B+.
Yeah.
Because I think that in retrospect, losing to Colorado is not great. Colorado was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a game you should have had. There's no shame in losing to BYU, no shame in losing to ASU, but, or Cincinnati really. But that Colorado loss was a bad one. I say B+, A-. It's really hard to win at Iowa State, man. Iowa State's little brother in their own state.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I do think that you've got to give credit for the fact of what a job he's done at a place like in Ames. I think that that's a difficult spot to be, especially when you're competing against the University of Iowa and Kirk Ferentz, which again, I think the biggest winner here is Iowa. They have had an issue with Matt Campbell recently.
Oh yeah. They've had a huge issue with Matt Campbell. He's kept them out of the playoff, man.
Yeah. Which I think, I think Iowa's the better program even through that. And I think Iowa has been, the better teams. Well, maybe not before last year, I guess not. I wouldn't say that necessarily, but I think that, Matt Campbell taking that step up to the Big Ten, and having some better resources and things like that. If he's able to do what he did at a place like Iowa State, he could possibly be incredibly successful at Penn State.
Yeah.
But is he going to be, like an Ohio State level, or is it going to be a James Franklin, perennial 10-2, 11-1?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
for sure. It's can he recruit at the highest level? I think that's the question. Matt Campbell can coach at the highest level.
Yep.
Can he recruit at the highest level? And I think that's what we're going to find out in these next couple of years, and we'll see kind of what the trajectory of the program looks like. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we got the UCLA Bruins. They were 3-6 in conference, 3-9 overall. Yes, they lost all 3 of their non-conference games before improving enough to win 3 conference games, and which was, for a while, Jerry Neuheisel was a folk hero as their, new offensive coordinator after Deshaun Foster got fired. So, but it wasn't but again, Deshaun Foster got fired. So the coach that we're evaluating is Bob Chesney, who was James Madison's coach last year. James Madison went 12-1, won their conference, won the Sun Belt, and then lost to Oregon in the playoff, but put up points.
Mm-hmm.
So ended up 12-2. 12-2 with one of the losses to Oregon, the other one to Louisville. So they beat everybody at their level. They beat all season. That's great.
Yeah.
Bob Chesney, that's an A for me.
Yeah. I think it's an A, and I think it's an A that you were able to convince Nico to stay.
Yes. Yes.
That's huge.
It's huge that Nico is going to be back for a rebuilding program.
Yep. So
yeah, I think UCLA will be. I think they're going to be plucky this year, man.
I think so too. I think they have the potential to be really good again. I do. I'm not saying they're going to rise to the top tier of the Big Ten, but I think they have the potential to be a consistently competitive team year in and year out.
I think so too. I think they could easily rise up and win 8-9 games, and like in the right year, maybe do better than that. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, moving right along. We had the Northwestern Wildcats, 4-5 in conference, 7-6 overall. Dude, for me, this is an A. When they got blown out to start the year against Tulane, I didn't know if they were going to win a Big Ten game all year. And they went 4-5 in the conference. Or no, was it against Tulane? Did they not? Am I right?
Yeah, they played Tulane.
And they got crushed, didn't they?
They lost. Yeah, I know they lost. I don't remember what the score was, but I do know they lost.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 23-3. And that was the first game of the year. And if you had told me that Northwestern was going to end up with 7 wins, I would have said no chance. No chance. But Griffin Wilde became a real weapon. And they didn't have much quarterback play, but they didn't, they had a really good running game, and they were plucky on defense.
Yeah.
And they play hard throughout. They don't see like a lot of teams, college football teams, you see there's some ebb and flow, and sometimes, some quarters are better than others and some drives are better than others. And I always feel like Northwestern's kind of giving it their best all the time, even when it's not going great.
Yeah, I think so too. They were definitely playing inspired, and it was a tough team, and they are. And Braun kept that up. I know that they were always pretty tough under Fitzgerald, but I think David Braun really continued that streak with this program, and I expect them to be dangerous this year. I'm not projecting college football playoff, but I think they are going to make it's going to be a lot of heart attack games for opposing teams. I think it's going to be pretty scary. So.
Yeah, I agree. They're frustrating. We better get them this year, or I'm going to be really upset about it. All right. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, 4-5 in the Big Ten, 7-6 overall. They are currently, though, they ended the year on a 3-game losing streak. C-. It's year 3. It's year 3 in Lincoln, and the best you could manage was 7-6 against a very, very favorable schedule.
Yeah. Well, the veteran
Nebraska
quarterback
did not have to play the toughest schedule last year.
Yeah. No, they didn't. And I'm with you. I'm going to say C- as well. I think that they should have won more games. Dylan Raiola should have looked better than he did. After everything, all the hype we've been hearing the last 2-3 years.
He was really up and down.
He was really up and down. And I think that like the team in general, man, I like Matt Rule, but I think like what you and I have talked about pertaining to that program is there just seems to be some issues going on there still that are lingering and still haunting, I think, their ability to have some further success. Yeah. Maybe they'll get it figured out this year and they'll do better, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go, but yeah, C- at this point is where I would have them.
Yeah, I mean, Rule has resources. They spend money on players, and he's 19-19 in 3 years.
Yeah,
and so his best campaign, through 3 years, the best he's done is 7-6. It's the best he's done. So yeah, the expectations are higher there. I think for sure. There's no question about it. Interestingly, Nebraska scored a lot of points in the games where they won, but they just were not very good in the games they lost. They were a really all over the place kind of team.
Yep.
I actually went back. I was like feeling I was just like zoning out last night, and there was nothing good on TV, and I decided I couldn't watch anything like The Daily Show anymore because politics just makes me upset right now. And I rewatched the Minnesota-Nebraska game.
Feel good?
I enjoyed it. It was 9 sacks, man. 9 sacks.
Yeah.
That was that was wild.
3 points? Was it 6?
They put up 24-6 it was.
2 field goals, that's right. Okay.
But they didn't score after halftime.
That's right. Yep. Yeah.
And it was Matt Rule on the sidelines, man. His facial expressions, he was just more and more upset as the game went on.
Mm-hmm.
And they were undisciplined. Like their left tackle got kicked out for targeting of the game. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I remember that. Yeah, it was weird.
It was like, what are you doing?
I know. I remember watching that at the game.
Like,
I was like, how?
Yeah, never heard of that before.
No.
I mean, he deserved it. He dove at a guy who was on the ground. It was stupid. Yeah, but like they were just kind of undisciplined last year. Nebraska was, and they just weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't. And it'll be interesting now. They went from having a pocket passer in Dylan Raiola, and now they're going to like a true dual threat in Anthony Calandria.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, Nebraska like going to be big schematic shifts in what they want to do, and like, I don't know, man. Here's the question: does Dana Holgerson, offensive coordinator, does he still have it or not? Because he used to be a feared offensive mind in the 2000s and the 2010s.
Yeah.
And there started to be diminishing returns by the end at West Virginia. Then he went to Houston and it went up not great.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's an offensive coordinator in Nebraska. And I haven't been scared of a Dana Holgerson offense in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Anthony Calandria is an interception machine, or he was last year.
Well, and there's no Emmett Johnson either. So
no Emmett Johnson. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see, man. Matt Rule is one of my he could be Big Ten Coach of the Year, or he could be one of the first coaches fired in the whole cycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I really think it's all out there for the Trojans. All right, next up we had what?
Huskers, you mean? You said Trojans.
Oh yeah, Huskers. Yes, thank you. Yeah. All right, next up now let's get into the winning teams. Let's get into the teams that had winning conference records. And we'll start out with the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who were 5-4 in the Big Ten and 8-5 overall. Despite only outscoring their opponents by 1 point on the year. And getting outscored in Big Ten play.
Yeah.
Now, because the losses were lopsided. The wins were close. The losses were not.
Another team that was inconsistent. Yeah.
Minnesota was one team at home and they were another team on the road.
Yeah.
And on the road, they were not a competent Big Ten team.
Nope.
They went 7-0 at home and 0-5 on the road. It took them until the bowl game to win a game not in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Which they did.
And it didn't make me pull my hair out at all. Yeah.
Here's what I'm torn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was... How do I want to put this? I think this team was underachieving on defense, but overall, I think this team was overachieving.
Yeah.
Because the offensive line was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it impacted everything.
Yeah.
It impacted the entire offense. It made it really hard to consistently move the ball. The offensive line was young and banged up and bad. And Minnesota paid a lot of money for a guy who came and never got into good enough shape to play. They paid a guy a bunch of money who was literally too overweight to play in the Big Ten. So there were some misses, but they kind of had no business winning all the games they did.
Yeah.
Like this was a team that went 8-5, despite honestly being kind of more of a 6-6, 7, 6-6-ish kind of feeling team.
Yep. Agreed.
So I think on the one hand, this was like PJ's not his greatest job, but like in the other hand, he kind of did an amazing job because the Gophers had so many weaknesses. I mean, they were down 17-3 against Rutgers. They were down 10-0 against Purdue.
Yeah.
And they won those games.
Yep.
They had to go down to the wire with Sparty. I also think that Minnesota has a lot of upside this year because if the offensive line is better at all, Drake Lindsey did awesome for being a first-year quarterback.
Yeah.
I know the bowl game was not his best until late, but like that'll happen when you're a little rusty and you're a freshman, and New Mexico is a really well-coached team.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm really excited to see ultimately what he can do in year 2, because it's just, if if the offensive line is better, and I expect that they probably will be as long as they can stay reasonably healthy, Minnesota could be really improved this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I have high hopes, and I think there's reason to be optimistic. It's again, yeah, you're right. Like it all just depends on the offensive line, and maybe getting one more wide receiver out there who can make some plays. Which I think is possible. I think all of it is very, very, very possible for Minnesota to have a really good season this year. But as far as last year, yeah, it's hard to grade. I mean, part of me is thinking like a B, but then also I'm like, I wanted to pull my hair out on some of those games that like we could have or should have won. Like we should not have lost to Cal.
No, that was bad. But it was also mostly coy.
It was.
And what do you do when your best player when your most talented player just doesn't show up at all?
Yeah.
Like that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
Because you can't really bench him.
Yeah.
Even though you might want to. But he just wasn't ready to play, and it cost us the Cal game. I mean,
yeah.
He got burned multiple times in coverage for touchdowns and had the fumble bounce off him, and they scored a touchdown off that. Well, so yeah, that was rough, but I guess I would say like B- C+.
I'm going to give it a solid C.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair. I think that he did a pretty good job coaching the team. He didn't do a great job putting the team together.
Yes.
Because of the offensive line problem, primarily.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And also the inconsistency, the maddening inconsistency in the secondary. Which again, a lot of it came down to Coy just not being ready to play a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You look back at some of that stuff and a lot of it came up to him, but it wasn't all him, We also weren't deep enough at corner and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think B- C+ somewhere in there, depending on how much credit you want to give him for coaching versus take away for how much credit you want to take away for the roster building failures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next up we got the Illinois Fighting Illini. And then John, after this, I think maybe cut it off and finish next time. That's okay with you? Just because I have a million things to do.
That works.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's talk about the Illinois Illini. They were 5-4 in the Big Ten, 9-4 overall, 6-1 at home, just 2-3 away. I think it's, for me, I think it's a B because the Indiana game was so ugly. I would give him a B+ for winning 9 games at Illinois, which is not always easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
The Indiana game was so bad. They were so unready to play in any way. And that they beat USC, they had some good wins, and they had a good win to end the year. But I just thought in Luke Altmaier's senior year, I thought they were going to win, I thought they were going to win 9 or 10 regular season games.
Yeah.
Not 8, Yeah.
So
I think because of that, and, they had a fairly favorable schedule last year and just couldn't quite capitalize even with the senior quarterback and all the stuff all the bells and whistles they had back last year. So I think I give Bielema a lot of credit, but I think it shows how much the perception has changed in Illinois, because if this had been 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would have given him an A.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And been you won 9 games in Champaign. Here's an A, have some champagne,
Yeah.
But I think because he's raised the expectation for himself, I have to nitpick a little bit just because of how bad that Indiana game was and the fact that they ended up, 8-4.
And that's why I'm actually going to give him a C+. Because of that, I expected more. I thought that they were going to win a couple more games. Like you said, with everybody that was coming back, and there were just some things. There were some head scratchers that I was like, and again, losing to Indiana, I'm not going to really fault him for that. I mean, obviously, with how bad it was, I think that was inexcusable. But the loss, just as a loss, not gonna,
no, they're the national champs. They went undefeated. There's no shame in losing to them, but 56-7 is really bad.
Yeah, I just expected some more from this team. And you're right, and that is because now the bar has been raised pretty significantly in Champaign, and that's that's because Bielema is a really good coach. So I do think that it's fair to grade him a little bit lower this year because of that, and because of the team, the team that he brought back, and it was I'd be content with that as an Illini fan, with like the record, but I'd also feel like there was some meat left on the bone. So
totally,
yeah, cool.
All right, man. Right. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. You can find Mike at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. And you can email us, We Live for Saturday, B1G@gmail.com. Please like, follow, subscribe, retweet, tweet, all that good stuff. Especially here on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see you. We'll be back next week with the next one, and we'll finish up our coach rankings, and we'll figure out a concept for the rest of the episode from there. Or coach grades, I mean.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.